Yeah, it's Laura.
Oh, I didn't know we were dancing.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
That 6-second delay is going to mess her up.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, welcome to today's podcast. I think we're at number 20 today. We want to show you a little video. So RJ and I yesterday went, and we did our very first drive-by birthday party. The world we live in, 2020, right in the middle of the coronavirus. And was Jerome, you got that thing ready to go? Go ahead. We're going to play that. We're going to show you how we attended an 18th birthday party for Megan Zawatsky.
Hey, Fit Fam, so we're here in Eastwood Drive, just in East St. Paul, and a big Fit Club supporter had contacted me and said, can we bring the Fit Club truck by in support for her daughter's 18th birthday? Coach Rick?
So we just want to say, Megan, thank you very much, you and your whole family, for supporting us.
Yes.
And we wanted to make sure that we did a drive-by. I've never experienced something like this before. It's certainly new for 2020 and the coronavirus. Anyways, happy birthday, kid.
We're going to beat it together.
How are you enjoying this weirdness? Clearly you're a celebrity.
You can do a podcast every day.
Clearly you're a celebrity. We're backwards. Look at this.
Here we go. You're back on.
All right. That's the world we live in. We're doing drive-by birthdays now. Isn't that crazy?
Drive-by birthdays.
Yeah, actually, it was kind of cool. But I will be honest, it was weird. It was super weird. Lining my vehicle up and behind, there must have been
30. There's probably 30 cars.
at least.
Yeah.
Probably 20 in front, a whole bunch behind. There was people directing traffic, and we were basically just driving slowly. So the girl, it was her birthday. Her and her family are sitting in the front porch, and we just drove up. But here's the thing. What's the etiquette at this point, right? I don't know. I didn't know if I should get out of my vehicle. Do I just wave? Do you just do a drive-by with your window closed? This is a whole new thing. Like, I feel like somebody should put a blog out there on drive-by birthday etiquette.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like when she asked us, I don't really know her. I know that she was a member here, and she always messaged me stuff. She's a supporter, Laura. And so she had messaged me, and she's like, hey, would you guys come by with the Fit Club vehicles? And just it's my daughter's 18th birthday, and she's graduating. So I'm like, all right, those are two heartstrings. I'll be there. Now, I can't do this for everybody, so everybody don't be messaging me, asking me and Rick to come out unless you got food for us. And I said, hey, if you're going to...
Food will get us
Yeah,
there.
food is getting... Just make sure that you use the sanitizer before you hand it to us and all that kind of stuff. But we're good with it. We got a pretty strong immune system.
Yeah, we're good.
I've eaten off the floor. No big deal. So, yeah, when we got there, it was just like a mad lineup. And we just went in and kind of gave the socially awkward wave and pulled around, and Rick got out of his vehicle and stood in the back and
Threw a hat.
threw a hat in the bucket, and it was definitely a different experience.
It was completely interesting. But before we get into that, we got a guest today.
Yes,
Laura. You can see her on the screen there. Her name is Laura Alvarado. Sorry, Laura. Let me give you a little intro, guys. So professionally, she owns 2 gyms. So she's in California. She is in NorCal. What is that called? Meadow Vista, California. She's the owner of 2 gyms, runs an online business. She is the queen of attract, convert, and retain for gym owners.
Fancy.
Went to art school, all self-taught. What does that mean? We'll discuss that. Anyways, been in the fitness industry for 15 years. If you're looking at her on the camera right now, you can certainly tell she is ripped. On a personal level, she's a 100-mile ultra runner, Ironman triathlete. She's a mother of 2. And this is funny. She hates to admit it, but she loves Real Housewives. I'm sure we could shoot a whole podcast on that. Maybe one day we'll watch an episode of that.
Yep.
Anyways, she feels shame every time she watches it, but she can't help herself. She has a huge sweet tooth, and this is the funny one. She has a one-eyed, obese chihuahua. So everybody, let me introduce you to Laura Alvarado. I don't have my button, so we're just going to give you a clap. That was awesome. Welcome,
Thanks for
Laura.
having me.
Yeah, no problem. So as we discussed earlier, we have a bit of a delay with you, Laura, so we're going to do our best to try and make sure we don't overtalk you. But I understand that you and RJ work together at some capacity, and that's how you ended up on our podcast. You mind explaining to everybody what that relationship is?
Yeah. So I own 2 gyms similar to RJ, but I also help gym owners grow and scale their business. So RJ is a coach. He helps me in supporting the gym owners in our program.
Nice. Awesome. So let me ask you this. Let's get right into it. You have obviously pivoted your business. I'm assuming your gyms are closed and you're doing everything online.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you foresee? How do you foresee this moving forward? Our industry.
I think it's going to be an interesting year. I'm not sure when we're going to reopen. I know my area, California, we are definitely one of the first places in the United States to have a larger outbreak than other areas. And I think even when we are able to reopen, that people might not feel comfortable going into the gym.
Yeah.
So it's going to be up to us as fitness professionals to help people meet them where they are. So wherever their comfort level is, wherever their goals are, to help people stay healthy and fit. Because even right now, more than ever, it's so important to make your health a priority. Like if you've been thinking about making a change, now is the time to do it. And not even just for yourself, getting your whole family on board. Like I know for me, sometimes it's harder to get my family to eat healthy, but now I'm really able to get them to make wiser choices because health is such a priority. So I think it's up to us in the fitness industry to really shift and meet people where for them, whether that's at home, inside of our facilities, online, whatever it is.
Let me ask you this: as a fitness professional, that we have a true coach, and as I commented in your intro, you're ripped. You were training to be, you were competing bikini, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, you look awesome. You look awesome. Well done. Here's a little statistic. 2/3. I'm just going to talk North America since you're in the U.S. and we're in Canada. This is a North American statistic. 2/3 to 3/4 of our population are considered overweight or obese, with obesity being the fastest part of those two, meaning that people aren't just becoming overweight, they're immediately going into the obese. How is it that we, as coaches, I don't want to say we're failing, but how is this becoming, how are we getting more fat than fit? What's going on in our world, Laura? How do we fix this?
Yeah, it's challenging because there's so many things working against us, whether it's more and more screen time, less activity, longer work hours, poor food choices that are readily available. So there's a lot to overcome. And I think, one of the things that I think we can do as fitness professionals, again, going back to meeting people where they are, is breaking things into smaller steps and really helping people realize that making changes to your health doesn't mean that you have to give up everything or be super perfect or work out 6 days a week or do any of the things that you so nicely said about me in my intro. It can simply mean just like making a smaller change and trying to make better choices for your family. So I think, bringing down our expectation of where people need to be in order to make changes to their health is one thing that we can do as fitness professionals to really help move the needle from obese to healthy in our communities.
I love that, bringing down the expectations. I feel like we are trying to be perfect, right? Yeah. We see these people on Instagram, Facebook, classic, and we feel like if we don't look like that, then we're not fit. But at the end of the day, I feel like as long as you're moving, you're making incremental steps every day, 1% better, as we put it, or like I like to do is I impose a 50% rule, meaning that if you have a bad habit and you want to decrease that habit, you do it 50%. So if you're drinking 4 pops a day, you bring it down to 2 for a certain time period, and then you just progressively knock everything down 50%, and before you know it, it becomes a habit, and then it's not even that challenging anymore. So I really like that, actually, breaking it down, bringing down your expectations and breaking it down into smaller segments so we can really grasp it, right?
I think right now a lot of people, too, the big thing when people walk through the doors is they look at people working out. And when they see people working out, they're intimidated, right? Because they're looking at everybody and they're like, man, everybody in this room is in good shape because they're moving around, they're capable. But 10% of the people that are in the room, this is their probably first week or second week.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people, this is their first year out of however many years that they've never worked out. And so now with these home workouts is I feel everybody has an opportunity to work at their own comfort level, right? Like if you can't do something, then you can just modify it and not fear of looking bad to a coach or to other people. And also if you need to stop when there's 20 seconds left in the workout, you can do that from home. And so now people have an opportunity to build a very strong fitness base so that when they do come back and they get back into the community, they get back into the coaches push, they're going to have a stronger base level of fitness, and they're going to be the people that from the outside in are going to look like they're fitness professionals.
Yeah. Yeah, you bet. Laura, how do you communicate with your new members when they come walking in through the door and they're just terrified, right? Just like us. Everybody's scared. They feel like you got to be in great shape before you can even jump into one of our workouts. What kind of things do you tell them to kind of put them at ease so they feel okay about jumping on that floor in your facility?
Yeah, two things. One, we always tell them to go at 50% intensity at their first week. So whatever you feel like you can do 50% of it, because we don't want you to get too sore. We want you to come back tomorrow. And the other thing that we really try and do inside of our facilities is every exercise that we program in our workouts, we want 80% of our members to do it. And the only people that shouldn't be able to do it are advanced athletes or people who have some sort of severe limitation, because it feels crappy if you're always having to do the modification. So, and you know, a lot of exercises don't need to be some crazy, you know, jumping, turning thing. Like you can make a squat hard by adding weight or, you know, changing your speed or through a variety of different ways. So we try and take great care to program it so that 80% of our population should be able to do every single exercise without a modification. Because bottom line, we want everyone to walk through the doors feeling like walk out, feeling accomplished, proud of what they were able to complete within the workout, instead of feeling beat down or like they weren't as good as other people in the session.
A little disappointment. Yeah, that's great. That's a good point. 80%. I like that, actually. And yeah, you're right. It is nice once in a while to give, you know, additional compound movements where you take a squat into a bicep curl, into a shoulder press, into a tricep press, and then all the way back down again. It's fun to do that, but it does become a little challenging, especially when you're trying to get most people to do it. So I feel like if you can stick to those basics and motivate them, and then once they do that, throw in a little extra, give them the ninja or the superstar mode, perfect, right? But I feel like, yeah, you're right, that 80% is super important. I got another question for you. You were a triathlete, or you are?
It's been a while. It's hard with the kiddos to find the time.
Tell me this: how do you train for that? Give us a 90-day breakdown on how you train for a triathlon. And for everybody that doesn't know, that's swimming, running, and cycling, correct?
It is, yeah. So it's pretty much 2 workouts a day, 6 to 7 days a week. It's a lot of early mornings, getting to the pool and just getting it in. Actually, the last one I did, I think my son was maybe 2 or 3. So thankfully, my husband's really supportive of all of my athletic endeavors, because it requires a lot more me leaning on him to help out with the kiddos. But you got to just get up really early and get it in.
Yeah, for sure. How do your kids respond to you being this superstar?
You know, it's really fun. I try and instill positivity around movement. So my son loves to work out with me. I got them some little 1-pound dumbbells. Even my daughter, who's 1, she'll see me doing stuff with the dumbbells. And, you know, every time we're outside, I just try and talk about how it feels so good to move our body. Doesn't it feel great to run or to ride our bikes, so that they associate exercise with positive rather than a negative, like punishment type thing. So that's one of the things that we work really hard as a family to move together and to associate it with positivity each and every single day.
Nice.
So right now, because you were putting in quite a bit of hours at the gym when you're getting ready for your show, what is your fitness routine look like now?
Well, right now, obviously, I'm working out at home. I've got some dumbbells. So every morning I work out with the kids. We do a little circuit, a 30-minute circuit at home with the dumbbells. And then I'll usually run for 30 to 45 minutes outside.
Nice. Tell us about your husband.
Oh, my husband's awesome. He is not a fitness person. He's one of those annoyingly skinny people who just can eat whatever he wants. When we first got married, he used to eat 4 bagels with butter and cream cheese for breakfast every morning, and I had to put the kibosh on that because I was like, dude, even though you're thin, like, this is not great for your health.
Yeah.
So he's very thin, very fit, but not the best eater, unfortunately.
I think a lot of people have that misconception. Just because you're not necessarily fat doesn't mean that you're in good shape, right? Like, I know if I eat terribly, I may still look good, right? But internally, my workout tomorrow is going to suffer.
Awful.
And I'll wake up and I got a headache or something, right? Like, it definitely contributes to all of that.
So looking at you, Laura, you look like you're not even human, right? You got very, very attractive. You got great shoulders. You can see your work ethic. We've already talked about all these accomplishments. What makes you human? I know it says you got a sweet tooth. Share with everybody. You're, what do you do that you don't want anybody to know about that us as coaches aren't supposed to do, but yet we do? Give us a little tidbit of that.
I have the hugest sweet tooth, so I've got to have healthy sweet treats on hand, or else it goes downhill very quickly, especially because my husband has all of this junk in the house. He's an ice cream addict. He'll eat sometimes a whole gallon of ice cream at night. I'm so surprised how he can fit it. So I've got my arsenal of healthy sweet treats. My favorite are Lily's chocolate. They're sweetened with stevia, awesome, and Halo Top ice cream. Always got to have that on hand.
Nice.
I was at the grocery store the other day, and they actually have a keto ice cream, but they only have chocolate and vanilla, and it was like $11 for 500 milliliters, so a half a liter. And I was like, ugh. But I think I want to try it. It was high fat. I really love high fatty foods, and I think might be my answer to ice cream. But so what is your day like? When do you eat breakfast? Do you intermittent fast? Like, I know she works. Like, she'll put in 12, 14 hours, but never leave that office. So what does your day look like with food and exercise and work? Like, what is a regular Laura day?
So normally I'm up by 5, and I try and be at my desk by about 5:15 and get some work in. And then I will work out, hang out with the kids. I try and eat breakfast with the family. So I usually end up eating around 9:30, and then back at my desk by 10. We've got our team huddle, which RJ's on every morning to connect. During normal times, I try and have a hard stop at work at 3 p.m. I'd rather get up early so that I can get off earlier and have some time to play with my kids before it's time to cook dinner and go to bed. It hasn't quite been that since all of these changes and having to pivot the business, but that's what it is. So that's pretty much a normal day for me.
So you're kind of developing your new normal as time goes on.
Yeah, it's really important to me to have mealtime with the family and to have some sort of physical activity with them every single day. That's how we connect and make sure that everybody's on the same page. So that, and obviously, our evening ritual of putting the kids to bed and reading and all that kind of stuff. So I try and be really present and make sure that I have some. What's that?
How is that for you? Sorry. How is that putting your kids to bed?
I am the worst. Like, I've developed this thing where my son, he just walks all over me. I can't say no to him.
I feel like my jet rise walks all over me too.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, just the little face. So my husband had him at one point where you could just put him down and he would go to sleep, and then he would reach his little hand through the crib and say, "Mommy, just hold my hand till I go to sleep." So now, even though he's 5, I still sit in the crib until he falls asleep every night. But I figure, there's only so much time in their life where they're even going to want me in their room, so I might as well live it up now.
That's how I look at it too.
Yeah. I'm not a parent, so I don't know the struggles that you guys are dealing with, but I hear it all the time. But I do love dogs. I got one, and she's a little Chihuahua as well, and that little shit runs the house too. I don't know how she gets away with the things she does, but she does. So, hey, Laura, can we talk about business real quick?
Let's do it.
So, clearly, obviously, if you're hooked up with RJ and you guys are doing daily calls, you're obviously the type of person that's learning and growing all the time, which is good. Your business has pivoted, obviously, online, like I feel every fitness facility has. Are you finding success in this new business model?
Absolutely. I mean, I think right now people, like I said, their health is even more a priority than ever. So it's just about changing what you're doing to meet people's needs, and also changing your messaging. So the way that we used to attract clients has now changed. The messaging needs to be shifted to be more relevant towards what's going on, and then also shifting our entire delivery system. But one of the things that I've really found is people are very isolated and craving that human connection. So I think that that's one of the things that's allowed us to be really successful in this time, is working really hard on how do we create connection and community even though we're online and we're not physically getting together. And I think that's really important, even just emotionally, to support our communities right now.
Yeah. So what are you doing then to embrace that? How are you keeping your community engaged with each other? And how are you growing it at this point?
We're doing daily community events. So we have anything from like meditation and yoga to like family kids workouts that are just sort of fun to get your kids moving, to things that are just fun. Hey, what do you grab your coffee? Let's talk about what you're watching on Netflix right now. And then also just more one-on-one community and contact with our coaches, which one of the things that I thought was really funny when talking to my team this week is they're like, wow, this is way more work than when we're actually open, because everybody's responding to our accountability texts.
Yep.
Everybody has time to meet with us. And so our members are getting tremendous results. We have some members who have been with us 2-3 years who've been really at a plateau and now are breaking through that plateau because they have time to focus on their health. And they're really making it a priority right now. So that's been so awesome to see as a result of all of this craziness.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we have the similar business model. Obviously, we're running the same things, right? So the community, we actually just made a list. So I just handed that list to Rick, and I said, these are your top audience. And so we have a list of top 10 members that engage in our groups. And we say this is how we have to direct our message, right?
Should we give them a little shout out?
Let's give them a little shout out.
From the west side, we got Michelle Nielsen, Alexis Ritson, Merle Atuka, Greg Prokopowicz. Such a Ukrainian for sure, right? Julie Q. We got May, Pauline Wong, Jessica Sunico, and Jody Jameson. Those are our west side. So they're not only our viewers, but they engage with us the most. From the North Siders, we got Gail, who is owner of this business right over here. Elizabeth, who started with us. She's got a really good story, actually. That's one that would probably inspire many. Shelly K, a.k.a. Socks. We got Mimi, Mandy, Joanne, a.k.a. French Fries, Andrea, Jen King, Kathy Bodie, and, of course, Lisa Memedov. I got to learn these last names. Lisa, by the way, I know you want to come on the podcast with your story. I'm not going to share what it is, but I'd really, really like it if you showed up and shared it, because I think it's important. So those are the people who engage with us most. We just want to say thanks a lot for doing that. Do we have any questions, by the way?
No questions.
No questions.
No questions.
So what's the weather like there? It sucks here.
It's actually pretty sunny. I think it was like 68 or 70 degrees yesterday. It was a beautiful Easter, if you celebrate Easter Sunday.
So did you do the whole virtual thing? Because I saw, Rick, you guys had a virtual thing.
Yeah.
Like that took me by surprise that you did that.
Yeah.
So did you organize that?
Nope. We didn't even organize it.
Somebody else organized that, and
Yeah.
you had like at least 10 families on there.
Yeah, we had quite a few. Yep, I think so.
Yeah.
Even more, 12.
Laura, did you have that, like a Easter, when then you had a virtual thing? Like, are you guys pretty connected with your families, or?
Yeah, so we actually did little virtual Zoom meetings with each one of our families. We did like an hour little house party virtual. My sister's across the country, so it was kind of nice to have a way to connect with her. Normally we would have just called her. So it was kind of nice to hang out and see her face for a little bit. And then my husband's family's really big, so we had like a little Zoom house party.
See, we've never been like us, me, Nary, and I. We don't for food, we see it as sustenance,
Yeah.
right? And then we eat we eat in front of the TV. We eat whenever. I don't have meals with my family. It's so rare. I don't even remember the last time we sat down and all ate together. So to do these like Easter dinners, Christmas dinners, like people are, oh, you got a big Easter dinner plan? I'm like, no, not really.
Yeah.
Like we don't really, that's not how we do it. But it's like, oh, but we have a big family hike planned, or we have like that's
weirdo.
Yeah, that's the things that we look forward to. So when people are asking me, why don't are you guys having a big dinner, big turkey dinner? And I'm like, should we?
Yeah.
Should we? Like, because growing up, we never had those types of celebrations,
Yeah.
right? And it was all about experience and activities for us growing up. But I noticed that a lot of people were doing these like Zoom family chats, and I was like, man, am I disconnected from my family?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how
Yeah.
I was getting the feeling, and social media is definitely an influence on that, right?
Oh, for sure. And I think that's actually, you made a good point right there with respect to changing your life, your fitness, your body fat. One of the things that you have to do, and we're ingrained, right? We're ingrained to celebrate everything with a big meal, right down from,
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, Easter, Christmas, Remembrance Day.
Bar mitzvahs.
Bar mitzvahs, Friday, Saturday. You might as well get a Sunday dinner in there,
Yeah.
too. And then let's celebrate Wednesday because it's hump day.
Yeah.
So it just seems like all we do is eat and drink, and we're always looking to sit for a length of time because
Yeah.
that's how you celebrate everything. And that's one of the things that I had to incorporate. I know you do it because we're the ones who hang out together. And Laura, I'm not sure how you are as well, but is that one of the things that you had to kind of maybe omit is a lot of those family functions, those get-togethers where you sit around and barbecue for 3, 4, 5 hours and everybody's just kind of drinking and eating? Like, do you do things different now with your family?
Yeah, it's funny. My husband's family is very much like that. They, God bless them, are so sweet, but think like corn is a vegetable. So, like, I just have to bring my own food. They make fun of me, and at first it was hard, and I was just like, you know what? I bring my own food. I cannot eat this food. I don't want to eat this food.
Yeah.
My father-in-law is cooking. His 3 top ingredients are mayonnaise, butter, and salt. He calls it the trifecta. If a meal has that, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I just bring my own food and do my own thing, and that's that.
Yeah. So another habit.
But, I think it's more about getting together and the conversation than it is about what you're putting into your body. So they all make fun of me, but I just ignore them.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's another good habit as well. That's something I know my wife has kind of taken on, the no meat diet, right? So, of course, anywhere she goes, she's looked at kind of like a weirdo, especially with my family.
Yeah.
My family are straight country folk. They shoot everything that they eat. So to only eat vegetables, you're looked at in a completely different way. But you know what? You got to embrace it. And as far as meal prep, we all 3 of us know, and probably most of the people listening know, that meal prep is the key to success, in my opinion. Right? Of course, there's many other things, but if you can consistently eat your own food, healthier food, that's where your success is going to be. So another great habit, I feel. So ease up on the family functions. Not everything needs to be a 3-hour meal. And number 2, learn to bring your food when you have to, right? Yeah.
And do other things, right?
Yeah.
And I think a good host. So we had our team dinner, and instead of going out somewhere, last year I think we went out to the corner restaurant, and everybody had burgers or whatever like that. I'm like, that's not. Nobody had an engaging conversation. I was like, let's just have it at our house. We plant it all around the middle of the room. We do games, like we get interactive. And I think that's a way better way, and it was actually 50% cheaper.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Neri, if you're a good host and you like to host people at your house, and everybody's got to, there's that one person that it's got to be at my house, and I got to cook. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, then
The host of the most.
Guess what you got to do? You got to start now cooking for your audience,
Yeah.
right? As you got to come to them. And so Neri she made a salad for Jen. She made vegan sausages for Dave and Candace, and you know what I mean. There was like just being adaptable to the people that are there. If you want to have people there, you got to give them food that they want.
Yep.
And that's one of the biggest things that I had for years is like we would just buy random food for our events, right? Like pizza, and it's like, well, I'm not going to eat. So
Yeah.
it's like, why do we even bring that food? And
Yeah.
so this time around our 6-week challenge, we had it at La Roca, and we had vegan stuff. We had a lot of different options, low carb. If you want to get the chips and dip, that's there too. Like there was all 3 levels, right? I always see your vegans as your top levels because they're the pickiest, and there's just only 5 things that they can really eat in the world.
Yeah.
And then you got your fitness people, And then you got the people that just don't care.
Yeah.
And we kind of want to spread into all three. So I think that's going to be the new norm moving forward, is that the old ways as people start to transition into fitness. And I feel like fitness is definitely going to be taking over. I mean, if you look at the industry now, like Laura would say the same thing, is that there's a lot more gyms, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if there's a lot more gyms and they're not closing down, then what does that tell you? It's either we're spreading the same customers amongst everybody else, or that it's becoming a priority.
Yeah.
So obesity, I do feel, has hit a high note, but at the same time, I feel pockets of people are now starting to get more fit, and it's showing, because I mean, within a 3-mile radius, we've got at least 3 or 4 gyms to us, and so the people that are around us have got to adapt. So Neri was a perfect example of, you know, her family looking at her weird when she would bring her own food, and now I'm there. You know, it's like, oh, well, RJ's here, and, you know, I'm pretty alpha doggish. I'm like, this is what we're eating, right? Like, this is what we're eating. Accept it. We're eating this, right? And then, so now they're starting to eat healthier, and they're starting to take better care of themselves. And I think it just takes one person, right? It's just like this coronavirus. It took one person to spread it. I think fitness is going to be that combat to all of this. It's going to be one person in a household that's doing a daily workout. Then all of a sudden their kids start watching. I know yesterday we were doing, or 2 days ago we were doing the Saturday workout, and one of our members had her Zoom on, and her kid sits there. He calls me Big Papa, right? And he was sitting there, and so and I was like, hey, Jack, get up, come on, let's start working out. He got out of the chair and he started, you know, doing some stuff. And
of course,
so the mom is influencing the kid, because now we're around them instead of being around them for 8 hours of the day, right? You sleep for 8, you work for 8, and then now you're there for at least 16 hours in front of your children. They're going to see your habits, and your spouse is eventually going to pick up on this, because there's nothing else to do, right? You can only watch so much Tiger King and so much Desperate Housewives of Atlanta, right? And so,
Laura and I would probably disagree with that. Can't watch enough of that, right?
So you just got to be that influence, and it's just this is a perfect time to be that influence. You could sit there and eat potato chips, which I think gets old and boring after a while. Eventually you get to a point where you don't even enjoy eating like that.
No, you just don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Laura, let me ask you a question. So when you bring your meal prep to your functions, and I know most people are looking at you like, that's weird, right? You can't eat our corn and our ribs and our mayo and our salt and whatever else.
Beer.
Don't you find, though, that there's a handful of people that are kind of intrigued, and you can notice that you're kind of inspiring them, and they're almost looking at you as like a little educational piece, like, hey, you know what, I can do this, and it's okay to do that, and I should bring my own food. Like, do you find that you change people's perceptions simply by doing your habits in front of them?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my husband's sisters actually joined our gym and lost a ton of weight. It was awesome when I got a message from her. She's like, this is the first time I haven't had to shop in the plus size department. I'm back into like regular clothes. You changed my life. So that was totally awesome, because we know that, you know, I got her into a healthy body fat percentage where now she's going to live longer for her family, which is my family. Or even just, we had our nanny actually move in because of what's going on with coronavirus. And so she was just telling me the other day, like, oh, hey, will you help me work out? I see you working out. Will you help me learn how to make better food choices? So, I try not to force it on anybody, but just wait for them to come to me. And then I'm always there to help with a helping hand.
Yeah.
I think the thing about a coach, too, is that we all started from somewhere, right?
Yeah,
like,
I
wasn't always educated. I wasn't always 15, 14% body fat. Like, I legit started and had no clue what I was doing, and I was just copying the guy who was bigger than me, right? And I would go to the gym and watch what people were doing, and we all started there. So it's like, to see us where we are now, this just didn't happen overnight, right? This is just something that we're like, hey, I want to make a career at it. So we took it to that next level, but people don't need to go there, but they need to start somewhere, right?
And Laura, I don't know what your history is, but while I got you, so I used to be 240 pounds. I ate McDonald's every morning. That was my breakfast, 7 days a week. And on Sundays, I treated myself to not only my Egg McMuffin, but I had hot cakes as well. So this was my eating habits. I smoked cigarettes. I drank alcohol. I used a lot of drugs, and not just marijuana, but the harder stuff. And my point is that coaches aren't just born perfect. You know, a lot of us have a story as well. Do you have a story? Do you have, is there something that you could share with us that kind of humanizes you one more time for your past?
Absolutely. And, I think most recently, as RJ said, I have a 1-year-old. I just had a baby. I gained 50 pounds during my pregnancy. I was almost 200 pounds when I had her.
Wow.
And that's the heaviest that I've ever been in my life. Part of it was I just was really sick. The only thing I could eat without barfing was soda and bagels, which I would never normally eat that stuff. And I couldn't exercise because I was so nauseous, and I just gained a lot of weight. So that was very humbling. Like, I had to start from the very beginning and build my body back up. I couldn't just dive right into the gym. And I had to be careful about dieting because I was breastfeeding. So it took a long time, and it's actually kind of fun. If I look back over my Facebook lives, you can see it's like my fat loss journey of where I started and then where I was now. And I felt a lot of pressure being in fitness, not only owning 2 gyms, but also working with gym owners to look a certain way. So I had to really be careful to lose weight in a healthy way that was setting a positive example for myself and for my daughter. I think really now having a daughter, that I'm very conscientious about the way that I talk about weight loss in my body. Even though she's young, I don't want her to have, negative associations with her body or feel like she has to look a certain way. So I wanted to lose weight in a healthy way that was positive for her.
Do you find that your daughter already has some negative ways of looking at weight loss?
No, I mean, she's only 1, so she's
sorry.
I
thought your daughter was 5. Sorry. sorry.
Son is 5. He's older. So, he asked me a lot of questions about eating different foods. We call healthy food strong food. So we say we have to eat our strong food before we can have other food. So we just try and create a positive atmosphere around food and our bodies.
So just to clarify before I ask another stupid question, so your daughter is 1 and your son is?
5.
5.
5.
Okay. I love the idea of word association like that. Instead of saying healthy, which unfortunately a lot of people would feel like now you're throwing something at them and you're forcing them by healthy. I like that idea of strong food. You can come up with a lot of different. We should almost consider that in our meal plans as calling things just like Spartan stew. Or
I find that things that catch on are things that have a catchy name.
Yeah, I love that. I want strong food now.
I'll tell you this. I had arugula on Saturday. It was amazing. Or Sunday, yesterday. Arugula is now my new favorite greens.
Yeah. I saw it on Mary's Kitchen.
You got to try it. And all he put was, I think, vinegar, oil, and lemon. Yeah. And it was like fantastic. I ate the whole thing.
Yeah. He's talking about a new coach, Laura, that we have. His name's Hugo. He just started with us, and he's got he's like a homeschooled chef. So he's showing us how to cook simply but flavorfully, And I agree. You don't need to overcomplicate it in order to make it tasty and keep it strong, not healthy.
So I think what Laura said there is very inspiring, and Christine agrees with me where she says she had to start over, right? And for us to start over in our fitness journey, especially like me, I'm the owner, I'm the face. You see me on Facebook. Laura's the same thing, right? Like she's the owner of her gym, she's the face of her business. And when people see you and then you're out of shape, they don't know your story, right? So Laura had her baby and she had a tough time with it, right? And so she started from zero. I fractured my kneecap last February, and remember, I couldn't even move, man. Like I couldn't get out. You have to pick me up and getting in and out. And I'm used to being that top-notch athlete where I'm jumping further, jumping higher than everybody. And I literally had to start from square one. And so a lot of people are going to come out of this pandemic, and some people are going to have to start from square one. And then you have 2 options. Number one, you can do nothing, and you can think about the good times when you were in shape and keep reflecting on the time when you were lean and you know what, I'm so depressed because I look at my old photos and this is where I was and this is where I am now. Or you can say, you know what, that's where I was, I know I can get back there, and you know what, in fact, I've built up new habits because of the fact that I had to face my demons. And that's what I say about this pandemic is people are having to face their demons. The demon is going into the pantry and digging in those, a lot of people have that work schedule, right, where they'll work out, They'll go to work, they'll come home, and then the window that they have to eat is very short, so they would just plow down everything they can. Like, oh, no worries, I'll work it off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now it's like you're at home all day.
Yeah.
And so it's like your activity levels have dropped significantly. So now's the time where you can improve on the small things, the 1%, the 50%, right? Where it's like, okay, you reduce the amount of snacking that you're doing. You start to intermittent fast. You do these home workouts. You start to work on, that's one thing I say with these guys, Laura, is that you guys are going to get mobile, and I'm going to make it happen. So you better be ready, because I've upped our warm-up time from, it used to be 2 minutes to now it's like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And part of the 8 minutes is a 4-minute mobility warm-up. I spend more time working on mobility with these guys in my workout than I do in the actual workout. And the same thing with the stretch is that they're now increasing the amount of mobility they're doing. And so a lot of people are going to have that square one. If not, they're going to be close to it. And you just got to accept it, man. And it's like, instead of you, like, get buckling.
You got it.
Buckle in.
Yep.
Right? Start making some changes. You don't like people that don't like the online trainer, the people that we're getting messages like, just online's not the same. I'm just not motivated. Get motivated.
Yeah.
Like, I would come to your house and put a foot in your ass.
Yeah.
Because it's time to get going.
Laura, how do we motivate them?
Yes.
You must hear it all the time. I can't get motivated because I'm not at the gym.
Sure.
I need my coach yelling and barking at me.
My kids are around me.
I need to walk in and feel the energy. That's not an option anymore. We can't give you any suggestions with respect to that. Now that we're in the corona, what kind of advice are you giving to people to get motivated and keep going?
You have to schedule it. So it was a huge adjustment for me. Like, my normal routine before this was get up and I would just go straight to the gym. Like, I had my workout clothes laid out. I would just go straight to the gym. Even if I didn't want to, I knew if I could just drive myself there, like something would happen. So now it's like, well, I get up. I can't work out early because my family's still asleep, and I'm too chicken to go running that early with the mountain lions in my area. So I'm like, have to start work, and then I have to actually force myself to stop work and work out, which is hard because once you get going, you don't want to stop. So I just schedule it. You guys actually are in my workout time right now, but that's okay. Once I hit 7 a.m., I stop what I'm doing, and I just schedule my workout. And if I don't, then I come up with excuses and I don't get it done.
So I actually want a few more points to get out of you. And while you're thinking about those, I want you to try and think of 5 things that you can get people to do to motivate themselves for home workouts. One of the things that I had suggested on a previous podcast was to set up your room, whatever it is, as an actual little gym. Right? Don't toe dip it. Don't be half foot in, half foot out. Move your couch. Make it your gym. Right?
Leave it there.
Set up your mat. Set up your weights. Create
Shoes.
whatever involved. Put up a motivational poster if you have to.
Yeah.
But right now you have to do everything in your power to make yourself work out. So what other kind of things can we tell people to do to get motivated to work out now?
My workout area is my living room. So all my workout equipment, the dumbbells are right next to the couch, which makes it really hard to ignore when you want to just sit at the couch and watch TV instead of doing your workout. Again, I lay out all my clothes, my workout clothes included, the night before. So I wake up and I put my workout clothes on. I feel like if you have workout clothes on, you're more likely to work out than if you have to change.
Yes.
Having a goal. So for me, you mentioned that bikini competition. I had to buy this crazy small bikini, and I was like, I'm never going to be able to wear this thing. And I had that bad boy hanging up because I was like, I can't embarrass myself. So here's my goal. Here's my teeny weeny sparkly bikini. So I think that can be helpful as well. And just to have an accountability partner. So when I decided to do the bikini competition, I'm a coach. I've obviously done a lot of different athletic events, but my friend Jill, who does a ton of competitions, helps me. And she would text me several times a week, just, hey, how's it going? How are you feeling? It was a struggle to really stay on track. So I think having an accountability partner was helpful. And then also just same thing with the accountability partner is have a time to meet someone, like meet somebody on Zoom or on FaceTime that you work out with that holds you accountable. So you've got an appointment. Was that 5?
And
I think so.
Above all else, I think that you need to get with a company like ours or like yours, right? A fitness business that takes care of all that. So instead of people trying to find an accountability buddy. Like, we have a whole system set up, right, Laura? You use the same system, a follow-up system. Monday you get the email. Thursday you get the text. Sorry, Monday you get the call out and email. Thursday you get the reply. You get the DM. You get the text. Saturday you get the phone call. Like, it's just, and it's a rinse and repeat, right? And I think that if you find the right people, the right company to work with, like Laura and mine, then the chances of success are going to happen.
For sure. Yeah, Laura, those are really good points. We're gonna do another 10 minutes or less. I just want to let you know so that you can schedule your workout. That's where we're at. I want to pivot this back to when you were pregnant, first time, second time. All right. So to all the women out there that are maybe pregnant or are going to be pregnant, what was the difference between pregnancy number 1 and pregnancy number 2 with respect to your workouts? Did you work out the entire time you were pregnant, or how long did you go for?
Yeah, it was so different. So the first time I was pregnant with my son, I was actually still one-on-one training and teaching group exercise classes. So I worked out until, the day before I had him, I hiked for 2 or 3 hours before I went into labor. I was teaching group X classes until right before I had him. So it was a completely different pregnancy. With my daughter, I couldn't really exercise at all because I was so nauseous. I thought I was going to barf all the time. I did barf multiple times a day. It was horrible. So I wasn't really able to be as active as I liked. And what was different is the pregnancy was so different. With my son, the labor was different. My body just felt pretty good. I didn't get a lot of back pain or hip pain or other things that people talk about. And with my daughter, I really felt the pregnancy in more ways than one physically from not being able to move as much.
And you really don't know why? You just, for whatever reason, you were just always nauseous and just couldn't eat properly? There was no other reason?
I don't know if it's a wives' tale. They always say girls make you more nauseous than boys. I don't know if there's any truth to that.
So, Neri, if you still want that girl.
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Every pregnancy can be different. So, who knows why? Maybe I'm older.
Yeah. Are you going to have another kid?
But I don't know. My husband's kind of chomping at the bit, but I feel like, I just got my body back, so we'll see.
Yeah. All right, Laura, listen, I want to thank you for joining us on our podcast today. I think you gave really a lot of great information to the people that were listening. And I want you to take care of yourself down there in the Corona, but make sure you're coaching and changing people's lives all the way in the U.S.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
No problem. So don't forget, get your shoulders moving because we're going to dance this one out, all right?
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, there it is. Thanks, Laura.